Okay, Tom, how are you?
I'm good. Gennady, how are you doing today?
I'm great. We are talking today about workflow and workspace. This is a new functionality which is just released just now together with SEO heat maps. But today it's not about SEO heat maps. Let's talk about workflows for Blogly.
Great. That looks, I've seen the static version of it, so I'm excited to see it live and in person.
Okay, so let's roll in. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, so we are right now here in primary page articles in Blogly. Of course, you can enter here. If you go on the very first navigation page that we have, you can go directly into articles just by simply going clicking here. You go into articles page.
Once that works really well. I like that arrangement. It popped up on mine last night, so I like it.
That's good. That's good. So, of course, you can create new article, but right now it's not about the creation of new articles. So now let's talk about when you started with the article and you already have some ideas in mind. You already lay out your outline, and now you're ready to write. But is every article? Can you compare? To me personally, I'm thinking of the article is like every article is like a mini project. You're going in and you got to do some work. You're starting with the research. You need to do some data collection. Then you might do like multiple researches. Hey, some people do the 20 researches before they write one blog.
Right. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, well,
that's dedication, if you ask me.
Well, 20 researches seems like 20 SERPs of 100 searches. It's kind of a little too much for one blog.
I don't think I could assimilate all that data. So,
well, consider this: SERP 100. You multiply by 100 different links in every SERP. Are you talking about 2,000 links? Well, hell, you need like 100 times of your lifetime to go through the research for every blog post.
I get bored if I get below 20. If I'm into the third set of 10.
All right, but what actually research is one of the steps for writing a good quality blog. What do you need for writing? Tom, you are a writer. You tell me what writing needs. What kind of steps do you usually have? Let's say I count few, but let's say writing. But before you're writing, you do the research. What else?
Well, once you research it, I do the research to make sure I understand the terminology and, can explain the concept properly. Then you do that. You go in, you write your draft. Some people will create an outline, which you can do very nicely in Blogly, and I do using the blocks. So then I write it, and I start to go back, and I do the editing. So it needs to be edited and proofread. Need to add in the images and the tables. I mean, some of these things are
but
interconnected.
If you say it shortly, let's say it shortly.
So okay, so here we go. Research.
Let's put it in like one word steps. Okay. You do the research, you need writing. What else?
Research, write, proofread,
editing.
Then you're going to want to do maybe check it for plagiarism, depending on the nature of the article.
Yeah, shorter plagiarism. What's next?
Then you're going to want to make sure it's ready for publication.
Okay, so publication.
You got everything in place, and then you may need to go back and update it. So
all right, yeah, you need to have some kind of verification check or approval or some kind of
That's awesome. Plagiarism, research, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. By the time you remember, let's go in and start looking at in one shot. So what do we have for workflow? Let's go now in the article. So here is what we added to the article. We added this tab next to outline named workflow. When you are preparing your article, doesn't matter what state it is. It could be the beginning and the end, but usually you better do it like the early, the better. You kind of decide what the flow you will have for any given article you're going to write. So for that, we designed the workflow. When you click on workflow, you go on this page, very simple page. clean. There is no distraction. Let's review what is there. Customize your workflow, activate steps for your desired business process. So, and you have a list of those steps that we just were talking about. It takes
Right.
too long to explain each, but we just simply read it. Research, writing, editing, proofreading, enhancement, SEO optimization,
Oh, I
approval,
skipped that one.
back, plagiarism, scan, publishing, promotion. And also there are some custom steps if needed. Now, also you have a button here on the top is a custom step. You can create any step you want. We separated this and we specifically designed a flow that is adaptable for any user.
Right. That looks good.
So for that, all you need to do just select what you really need. When you see this, I'm clicking here and I say, okay, I need to do the research. Yeah, I do. I need to write. And of course, maybe I don't need like editing, but I need some kind of step of a proofreading so I can allocate some time, quickly go through that, or maybe even somebody else can help me to do that. Enhancement is the step that what you're talking about, incorporating, maybe throwing adding some images, some GIFs, some video, maybe some external linking, internal linking. This step I name enhancement. SEO optimization is undeniably today is the one that's such an important step. Don't forget that if you want to compete with others. Approval usually is that will be a part of the team when we release the team, because workflow is a part of the team. However, we decided to let it go and be workflow for anyone who uses a Blogly, except of course not free accounts. Free accounts will not get an access to that, but paid accounts, of course, even with the one code, you could have an access to the workflow and workspace. You design your flow for every article. So you want to have the feedback, great, okay. Maybe you want to send it out. Somebody can review it and give you the feedback if you want that. If you want to have a plagiarism scan, whether you do it here or not, it doesn't matter. You can, if you want to do it, you can do it outside somewhere. You just make it as like a task. You're creating your own checklist for what needs to be done. Publishing, of course, the final step, say publishing, close to final. Publishing is that you need to publish it. Publish it, whether you publish it in the WordPress. And by the way, we have now this Ghost coming up integration. We have a Shopify integration for blog coming up, and Medium. So those three integrations will be coming very soon. We're planning them in March. So we'll add them. And from one place, you can just publish in multiple places.
That's fantastic.
Promotion is also the very important step. If that once you publish it, now it's time for promotion. That means promoting. That means it's not like you're going and start waving everywhere. No, you just simply send it to your published article to say Facebook, to Twitter. You can post it, send it to LinkedIn. So those are promotions, and they're important. So you publish it, why not share it? And you quickly click and you share it with the world. Now the custom steps, anything you desire. And I give an example. Say if I want to do some specific, somebody say some kind of some validation or whatever step I want to create, I can just put the name of it, whatever I need. I can click OK, and this step will be created. It's set on the bottom. Now, can I move them around? Yes, of course. I can take it and drag it and move it around anywhere I want. So for that is
very nice.
You can move it anywhere you want. You can drop it here. Also, you can create multiple ones. Say, for example, you might need an approval step, and maybe this approval, even if it comes from me, I'm writing it, I might need some kind of approval myself. So by the time I'm done, it's like editing. I do the editing, maybe instead of editing, I just do the approval, and then in this, like in the multiple stages. Let's say I need to have an approval, maybe after the research. Maybe I can put it one after research, one approval after writing, and maybe approval. Maybe I do one more approval if I need to do it before the publishing. Let's say if I want to do that. Now you can see now my list keeps growing, and whatever I need, this is my workflow. And whether you want it or not, this is the way every blogger works. You may do the only few steps, like, okay, you need to do some kind of research. Doesn't matter what you write. You may write about I don't know, maybe some about cat food. Doesn't matter. You still need to do the research, some kind of research. So you be prepared what you write. You not just simply say, okay, let me write the horror story without thinking about it. Yeah, it maybe work, but for if you want to do the blogging, you better be prepared for what you're
Yes,
going to say, right? So
indeed.
you need research, yes, indeed, right? You can do the approval after that. You don't need to say, okay, you can turn it off. But let's leave for now as on, so you can see how that look like. So when you're ready, you're happy with this, you can click save. But I will show you after the other things that what else you can do. But before even I click save, so let me just show here. When you hover over it, of course, you can move anything around here. You can just leave
Right.
it the way you want. And any sequence you want. Maybe, who knows, maybe you want to publish it first and then you do the research. Well, it's not going to be really smart, but you're able to do that anyway, right?
Right.
But another thing is, let's say I need to do, before I say that, those steps are sequential, one after another. So make
Right.
sure you set your right sequence. Because let's say, for example, if this layout, I cannot start, say, enhancement before I finish proofreading and anything before that. So one step at the time, and only one step will be active at any given time. So once you complete this step, it's completed, move on to the next step. So make sure you're doing it correctly. Once you say you like your layout, this is what you're going to do, click save. When you click save, the steps will be saved and it will be shown to you here on the left side.
Okay.
So, yeah, right here. So now you could see we save all the steps and you can see them here. And let's review now this view. Left side is now your sequence of events that's supposed to happen. You got starting from research, then approval, then validation, then writing the approval, then proofreading, enhancement, SEO. So those steps are valid. You just selected them, right?
Right.
So you selected, this is exactly what you want. And now it's for you to set up the few things here on the right side. So let's review the right side. Right side is split into two sides right here. And of course, it's scrollable. So the left side is assignments and the right side is executions. So assignments. And you can see on the top, manage assignments, responsibility, and dates. This is the part where you manage it. So
Right.
for each of the assignment, each step has an assignment. So you just simply click on research, you just fill in anything you want. If you are up to writing an essay, great. Pull all the assignment that you think that requires for this particular step. You can leave it blank if you want to. If you leave it blank, it's going to say like this. But let's say if you want to do some research and this research requires some details, you might want to say what it's all about. Say maybe the part one research, maybe you want to do about, say, intro. Say, for example, I just want to leave it like this. So this is something you want to say, what you're going to do the research. Once you click
Right.
OK, this information shows up right here. Once you click on the block itself, this one is not editable. However, you can edit it only with this icon. When you click here, this is where you can edit it. Now, just know, this is just like your editor. It has a full rich text formatting. So you can highlight it. You can make it as any way you want to look any way you want. So it will appears like this. So you can insert the images. So just like a blog post, this is your editor of one blog, and it's sitting right here inside. Like I said, you can create it as detailed as you want to. Here on the right side, you have starting from the first. Current step is always the first. Now you can see this one is research is a current step. You have a red button complete. That's the button when you click when you're done with the step. Here's
Okay.
this one is made for the team. And by the way, teams are coming up. So we have a team coming in the next 2-3 weeks. We say we're going to release the teams and the workflow. This is pretty much we almost done there. Maybe another 30% to go. But we have we will be ready with the teams, and when the teams will come to play, you will see that your team who you will invite, you will see that here. You can allocate the task to them. And now talking about access, just for as a sneak preview, this one is not related now to you as an individual. You are owner, you don't have any accesses, but this is the accesses you provide to your team. So starting from the access to the content, research notes, so pretty much everything, including the publishing, plagiarism, and social sharing. So you can control what the person gets when they will be performing this task. So
I see a due date up there too. Can you?
Due date. Let's set the due date. Let's say today is February 24. You see, once I set it, it shows up right here. If I now set this one is at 25, this one will be, let's say this one is also 25. This one, let's say, will be 26. Maybe then I skip a day, take a break, and then I come back on the Monday, and I'm gonna continue on the 1, on say 2, and maybe on the 4. So this is my schedule. This is what I'm going to do. Now,
that's great.
If I get out of here, so you can see, get out, just simply go in outline. Now you can see my article. And if I go back in the workflow, just simply click in here, it replaces, it gives me the full workflow for the article. Is it editable? Yes, of course. You can see the button edit. You go back here. Now, let's do some edits so you can see what the edits are. What the edits are. Let's say I want now remove this approval. I really don't need it. But what I need right here is like separate researches into 3 different documents. So let's say I do the 3 different parts of research. Some people do 20, remember? So,
I've heard that. I think I read that somewhere.
Okay. But now let's do this sub steps. So what it is actually your sub step of your research. So let's create some sub steps. But actually, you know what? Let's do the so it will be better visible. Let's do for writing. So let's say I have there's some writers. One writer writing me one part of the story, another writer writing me say another part of the story, or maybe me. I'm like, say here, I'm not in the team, I'm myself, but I maybe split up my writing into 2 separate writings. So I could say, okay, I'm doing writing on say part 1, and part 1 is for writing. So let me just name it in full. It's going to be writing part 1. And another one, let me just copy this. And another one will be a writing part 2. And maybe I can add one more part. Let's say I have 3 different parts on writing. So as you can see, now the writing is split up into 3 different parts.
Right.
There is a sub-step, and adding sub-step is just a plus right here. So you can just simply click on sub-step. You created the sub-step, and that will appear here. Now let's take a look how it looks like on the final flow. So when you click save, you come back here. Now let's take a look. See this one that shows up, it's updated.
Right.
I already set the dates. And now you can see my writing part 2, part 1, 2 through 3 show up here. Now what will happen here? Now you can see my very first step, it says in progress. Now I have the due date is set. It's as soon as I start, so this one is already considered to be started because it's just sitting there. Now I have a 1 button here to complete. Well, let's say I completed my assignment. I'm assigned to myself. I completed the research. Then I can just click complete. It's asking me here, and we specifically have a pop-up. I think I'm going to expand it here. We're going to say here, this step is irreversible. So once you complete it, the only one way to uncomplete it, it's just simply create a new one. So it's a lot easier.
Well, that's good because that basically creates an audit trail. Say, for instance, you're working with...
it creates a record. It creates a record, shows you. And this record stays there. I'll give you an example. Take a look. If I click OK, now you can see the green check mark is here. I cannot uncomplete it anymore. It says here completed on such and such day. We systematically set the date. You cannot change this date. The research part, as it was before with the edit icon, no more edit icon. You cannot change it. You can preview all your notes that you took, your like assignment that you had for yourself here, but you cannot change it. So this remains as a record. Now, if you really want to edit it and come back and say, I want to create another research, no problem. Just go to edit and just create. When you go to edit, you will create another research here. just simply create another custom step, name research. You can move it up here, and that will be the way how you can actually like fix the issue if
Sure.
you want to do repeat the same step. Make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah, it's good. I like having a track, particularly if you're working with somebody and, you're constantly having to redo some of their work. Now you've got a good track record saying, oh, okay, well, we had to redo that 3 times and we've had to redo it 3 times on all 4 articles, that type of thing. So
yeah, as you can see, I just completed the second step. The validation is completed. You can see they are crossed off here, and you can see the way it's going now. The next step will be writing. Now, as you understand, this is your full view of your basically like a tasks, right?
Right.
Every article like becomes like a mini project, so you can see the whole project in the number of tasks that you create for yourself. Are they editable? Yes. If they're not completed yet, they are editable. You can edit as any way you want. You can move them around, but once it's completed, you cannot change that. It stays as a record. Also, how you could see your where are you on the progress on the task in the easier way, not just inside the article. Can you see that some other way? Yes, of course. See this one, how to make a living blogging. So let's take a look in here. We added here additional menu here, my workspace. When you click on my workspace, you added now, you are going here into your workspace where you can see every article that contains any kind of workflow, open, active work. So if the workflow is not active, will not appear here. If the workflow will be completed all the way through, it will be hidden. We're going to put here a filter, quick filter here that you can actually filter by completed, uncompleted. So right now I can see in just inactive articles. How I can see them? If I open it up here, this is exactly the article that we created. By clicking on it, just like clicking on this button here, it appears like a button. This is a step. This is actually like a tag or step. So it says writing. That's exactly the current step right now. And when you see this layout now, instead of the vertical, you can see it in the horizontal view with the current dot. The green dot is on the top. That's the one. That's the step you are on right now. At any given point, you only have one current step. If I have the current step of writing, this is the writing step, and I can see I have a few more to go. I know exactly where I am. And when the team will be present, when we'll have a team ability, once we release the team, you will see on the people faces who is behind of each.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, cool.
Now,
and I like the tool tips across there, so you can, as you scroll across, you can see
what is it, right? Yeah, you can see that I'm currently on writing, but now for each step contains the exact date that is being scheduled for the completion. It's based on the step level. So when I look in every step, I can know exactly, because I'm giving myself the date. If I didn't provide the date, it will look like this. You'll see the blank dates because I'm just didn't give a date. But it's nice to have a date because we will have that sortable in the future. Right now, this is our first release. We're gonna see for responses. We see what the people say. The people may give us the inputs that we might make some slight updates and tweaks and changes depending on the inputs. Right now, we just showed this. You can see the whole layout of your task. Basically, this is your like a project on the article. You know exactly where you are. And going into this particular article, you can just simply click on this arrow. You're going inside the flow itself. Now you are
cool
article you want to go, and here is the your basic like a project, right?
That's really great. I mean, I like project plans, and I've done Gantt charts, and so this is so much easier. Well, I'm not building an airplane, so I don't really need the power of a Gantt chart, but this is a great, easy to use project planning tool. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
I do have a question. So you pick a date of March 1st.
Yeah.
You've got the oh gosh, the publishing calendar.
Yeah.
Is there any thought? What are your thoughts, perhaps, about putting
Shown
your
on a calendar. Yes,
yeah?
yes. We do have a thoughts. We do have a thoughts. We just
Okay,
didn't implement it yet. But all the steps will be shown on a calendar. We will do the separate view on the same calendar. So you see not just by published date, it will be on the workflow steps.
yeah,
So
that
every
makes sense.
workflow, we will incorporate totally, I mean, it's going to be the same page, but two different tabs. One tab will be for publishing, another tab will be for workflow. And you will
Right.
see every workflow that is scheduled, say, for any given day. You can see what you need to do.
Oh, that's terrific, because you can also, I mean, if you're looking at each individual project, sometimes you might overcommit yourself and say, oh, well, I can't meet that date. I've got to do something different. So
Now, yeah. Now, I just want to mention about this one, about sequential, and we have two flows, right? This flow is like sequential, and this flow is a simultaneous. So the simultaneous, that means you can do these three tasks at the same time. They will not interfere with each other. So assuming like in a team, you will have three different people working on three different tasks, but they not interfere with each other, each one covering own subject, I mean, own parts. But when you completing them, let's say when I complete, you do not, as an owner, you do not have anything now on the level of this. Now everything is shifted now on the level of the subtask.
okay.
So those are considered like subtasks. They're identified here with the bar. So you could see part one, part two, part three. Once I completed this, you can see I cannot change that. If I have a special instructions, I could not change them. But when I finally complete the last one, hold on just a second. When I finally complete the last one, it will take the whole step will be considered to be completed.
Got it.
So as you can see now, the whole step is now crossed off. Moving on to the next one. Let's say now if its approval is here, if I go back and I go back to my workspace, you can see now it's an approval space. I mean, an approval stage. So at any given point, just remember, at any given point, you always have the current step, what is up for the due to do now. Whether you do it, you could have the dates, but dates more for like, it's good for reference. And I know exactly, because sometimes it's understandable that you might have many multiple steps. You can create your own dates for each, but if you just don't even set up the date, then it does not matter. It does not break anything. It just simply don't have a date, but that's fine. So it's easier to control with the dates. So when you add the dates, it will be easier for you yourself to store it, to do anything else.
I think you should have take some of that AI stuff and put it in there. And if you put too many things on one day, it can pop up and say, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, that's probably the good use of AI, right?
Are you sure you want to do that?
Okay, I think this is about it. Is anything else you want to ask me about the workspaces and workflows? Is this clear? Is it something that we need to go and do you think people may have problems with the understanding?
You know what? If anybody has ever laid out a project of any type, this is dead simple. If people want to learn how to, break things up and kind of, allocate their work, say they're new to the process, this is a great way to add some discipline. You're outlining your workflow just like you're outlining your article. So that's, to me, is the way it looks. I've got my outline of what I'm going to do for my article. Now I'm going to outline the steps that I will take to get from point A to published. And so, I think people, depending on your needs, this is great. If you want to use Microsoft Project to manage your writing career, go for it. I don't think you need to with it. You've got this instead.
It's like a built-in project manager inside the Blogly. So
Right.
now we are on a different level. We offering the additional functionality to everybody who has the paid account on Blogly. And doesn't matter how many codes. This will be available to everybody. The only
That is
one,
amazing.
the multi-users functionality will be only on add-ons, and you will need to buy seats. Those will be only on subscriptions. And whatever people are asking, can I include it? No, I'm sorry, I can't. The multi-users will be done, but we will provide a discount for AppSumo users. So you'll get the discount. So it's going to be like, I don't know, it's going to be like $12, $15 a month for a seat. So when you add the seat, but we will discuss that later when we
that, you know what, all these other like Slack and Monday and Asana, I use those with other clients because that's what they, brought me in on. They get charged for the number of users. So speaking of which, you mentioned earlier on, and this just kind of popped to mind because did you say you're going to have an integration with Shopify?
Yes, we will have integration with Shopify blogs. We will have integration with Ghost. And I kind of like Ghost. One of their customers actually showed me that the Ghost and offered me that graciously offered me to use their account for the integration. Great. I'm going to do the integration with the Ghost. It seems like it's so easy. And I noticed one thing is missing in Ghost. And it's actually everything else is I like in Ghost is I actually create simple, easy blog post, but it's not free. So for the Ghost, you gotta pay subscription, right? But they're missing the SEO part, and we will have a really good SEO, especially now. We are providing for SEO heat maps, and we do provide for SEO heat maps allowance. And as you can see right here, I can actually show. Now we're switching slightly a little bit subject, but I can show you there what's in the settings right now after the update. So in the billings now, so you can see. Now we show up here for Solar account. Solar, that's 2 codes, basically 2 codes. We'll have 120 SEO heat map credit allowance per month. That means you can create so many heat maps for any keywords that you are going to use. So it will help you to compete. For 3 codes in the AppSumo, you'll get the on the matching to growth plan, you'll have the 250 SEO heat maps credits per month. So you can use this for to drive the data. And now considering that also with the Workspace, that's adding extra value to everybody. Doesn't matter how many codes they have.
Yeah. These other software providers need to be worried. This is an amazing product. And
Thank you.
You know, one of the questions that came out of the AppSumo launch on Monday was, gosh, it looks like there's a lot to learn. I just would, say people may look at this, oh, this is a lot to learn. It really isn't. Use it, get started, pick up the pieces as you go. Just like I'm learning SEO and how to, use the tool within Blogly. I didn't know anything to speak of about SEO when I first started. So I could barely spell SEO when I first started using Blogly. Now I can spell it easy. So
barely spell.
All right. I've gone way off on a tangent there. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I think we're done. We covered. I don't know what else to tell about the workflow. It seems pretty intuitive. I just do not see any issues. Anybody, try it out. I just do not see what other questions can come up. I'm not sure.
I don't know of anything right now, but the disadvantage of me saying that is that I have done project management before. So,
I'm by my line of work, I'm a project manager. Right?
I recall that.
So I've been 20 years spending with the projects in the Jira and the other just some of them are so complicated. It's just you take like years of learning, not just you talking this. This is this difficult?
No, I mean, like I said, if people think of this as the outline of the tasks they need to do, or if they're going to, They could use it as a to-do list, just whatever fits with your mindset and how you approach your work. This will adapt to it. Anyway, is it a to-do list? Yeah, it can do that. Is it an outline of all the steps you need to do? Yep. Is it a work plan? Yep. So,
Yeah.
I think it provides a very nice tool,
Yeah.
particularly for
Granted that,
busy.
we will have, we will need to add like a sorting ability for the due dates. We will need to add more like a filtering ability here for,
Right.
yeah, that will be added. That's not like a huge deal. I mean, yeah, we'll add. And by the way, first I want to hear what the people say, and then we will add as desired as we go move along. And I'm totally open on chat. Open it up. You see me pretty much constantly there. So
Yep.
you can just ask me any questions. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. I'm open to hear anything you suggest. We will implement it. How many times we went through so many people? I mean, some people ask, implement this, we implement that. So it's no limit. I mean, what you can ask. Of course,
No, I
certain
mean,
makes sense.
early adopters for Blogly have a kind of a rare opportunity to provide input and see it happen. Not everything that people say or ask for is feasible, either for a variety of reasons. But you know what? It's really cool because you really are taking people's input and making it happen in the app. And I think that's pretty unusual these days. So.
All right, Tom. Yeah, thank you very much. And I think we covered this. If anything comes up, I think people will not hesitate to ask me.
Sounds good. Thanks, Gennady. Have a good
All
evening.
right. Thank you. Yeah.
Bye, Mickey.